evening. I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. The Cleveland Guardians just fell to the Detroit Tigers 6-3, ending Cleveland's playoff run. The Tigers pulled away in the 7th with 4 runs, hits from Riley Green, Spencer Torkelson, and Wenzel Perez. Right now, the Chicago Cubs lead the San Diego Padres 2-0 in the middle of the 3rd. And then later tonight, the Red Sox and Yankees have their elimination game at 8 p.m. In NFL news, the San Francisco 49ers take on the LA Rams at 8:15. The 49ers are without starting quarterback Brock Purdy. Mac Jones will get the start. The 49ers are also missing their top 2 targets, Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings. Lamar Jackson didn't practice for a second straight day for the Baltimore Ravens. In addition to the 2-time NFL MVP being sidelined, Pro Bowl safety Kyle Hamilton did not practice after injuring his groin yesterday. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Bring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
And Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
Off and rolling here on a Thursday. I'm Brandon Beam hanging out with my guy, the Murph Dog, Patrick Murphy. Isaiah behind the glass tonight. Sad update for him and Guardians fans out there. Their season comes to an end 6-3 as they fall in the wild card round against the Tigers at home. It's all right. I was sad dogging last night for the Reds. So both baseball teams in the state of Ohio are dead. And then you can either watch or not watch Major League Baseball playoffs. Patrick, happy Thursday to you, buddy. What's happening?
Not much. We haven't seen each other in a while.
We haven't.
Yeah, I got to talk to you last week, but it's good to see your face.
It is good to see your face. Yes, did talk to you when you were in the lovely Pacific Northwest for the Washington game. I'm glad you had a great time. Buckeyes came away victorious, but Pat, the Buckeyes are back at home here this week. We got a big tussle with Minnesota to get ready for. Hey, just by the way, before we go any further, I want to let you know, Carp's going to join us here in a second. We had to move him up. He's very busy, as you know, with his schedule, so he's going to be joining us momentarily. We'll do some Ryan Day sound coming up here in our next segment around 6:17. Spencer Holbrook of Lettermen Row, he's going to join us at 6:30. And then top of the 7 o'clock hour, we'll do the college football pulse. We'll do some Ohio State men's basketball stuff. They had their media day a little bit earlier in the week, and then Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle, he's going to join us at 7:30 as we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check in with probably the busiest man in show business. He is the General Bobby Carpenter. Carp, what's happening? No football practice tonight? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I'm heading over to the estate in New Albany.
Ooh,
there's a big
sounds exotic.
Going on. Well, it's a nice little event space. I've been over there for a couple other events before, weddings, some of these little charity functions. And it's the Adaptive Sports Boundless Bash. And been a part of it for the last couple years. Our great Lieutenant Governor, Jim Tressel, will be in attendance tonight, so excited to be there with him. But, it's adaptive sports for people that, either born with disabilities or, a lot of time there's veterans or people who had tragic events in their life. And to get them outside and to get them to experience some of the great things that we get to do. And this year, they're going to have my former teammate, Tyson Gentry, there and his family. I got a chance to see him earlier at the Woody Hayes, which is awesome, and get to look at his 2 boys and talking to his lovely wife, and excited to go over there and talk to them. So I had to shift around some of my XM schedules, shift some practice schedules. We had, if you really want to see a great scene, your boy Schleggs yesterday, coaching at the Jones Hastings Middle School 7th grade football game. I'm like, I took a picture of him on the field.
How bulging were his veins?
Oh, exactly. He's like, I'm just a volunteer coach. I'm this and that. I got a picture of Schleggs. I'll send it to you. He's like out on, out on. And I'm like, buddy, where? He goes, I got no get back, coach. I'm like, exactly. You're out there in the middle of the field, 7-8 yards in there, past the official. But they ended up having a big comeback victory, so I know he was really stoked. But the last 2 days have been pretty hectic.
He needs a Quinn Temple out there, hold him back.
He does. He's Quinn Temple and a dog collar to shock him and take him down. Maybe a nice taser.
I think that would probably be more apropos. He's like Jed Fish, Bob, getting outside of the numbers last weekend over in Washington. Hey, buddy, it's homecoming weekend. Buckeyes back at home, favored by a whole lot against Mr. Row the Boat and PJ Fleck. The Fangs are going to be out. It's a prime time game. What's your guide to tailgating as an all-day affair over at Ohio Stadium on what should be a lovely Saturday in the San Diego of the Midwest?
Yeah, well, it's homecoming, so that's a whole nother element, Beam. I mean, you're going to have a lot of folks coming on in here who are coming back. A lot of my wife's friends who are from the West Coast are making the trek in. And so they like to get after it, and they're on that body clock of the West Coast time, so it screws them up a little bit. So they got to hit a lot of espresso and obviously, a lot of libations combo together. And so it provides – a unique feeling. There's going to be a lot of good games on during the day, so you want to pace yourself to make sure that you're not doing anything too crazy. Hopefully this game, judging by the spread of nearly 24 points, in a Minnesota team that's still without its best running back and and a quarterback that's pretty good. Lindsey does some good things. Drake Lindsey, he has a lot of yards, but they really don't push the ball down the field a ton. I had one big play, obviously, last week against Rutgers, but it should be a game for the Buckeyes where this defense is going to continue to look like what they have here in the past couple weeks.
Bobby, you played linebacker. I was watching Arvell Reese chase Damon Williams Jr. on that tackle where he got to the outside and then realized Arvell's a freak.
I don't have space.
Yeah. How did these two, Sonny and Arvell, rank to you in terms of Buckeye athletic linebackers you've either seen or played with?
Yeah, these guys, they're up near the top. And, the story is it's still unwritten. Tasha Benningfield, they've got 18 left. Plus, yeah, of course. They're staring at the blank page, trying to figure out what they're going to write down. And the length that they have, the athleticism they have, it provides great versatility for them to be in coverage. We've seen Arvell be up on the line of scrimmage a lot, utilizing some of that D-line background that he has. And so these guys, they're up near the top of some of the great linebacking cores here at Ohio State history. And getting a chance to play with a couple other great guys myself, you love to see guys that can do a lot of different things because it gives the defense and Matt Patricia an unbelievable opportunity to say, hey, I can do this. And, maybe we're a little deficient, at that interior D-line position, but because of Arvell and Sonny being so big, you can get those guys down near the line of scrimmage, and they can help make up for some of that with some of the different fronts and looks that they can bring to the table. So it's a very, very special situation that we have here. For a defense that lost 8 starters and lost, the quote-unquote the best defensive coordinator in college football, at the time, I think they're faring pretty well, and I think this defense is maybe more talented than last year, and we'll have to see if they end up being better than last season.
We got Carp with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Bob, we were talking to Austin from the Woody last night, Justin Zwick and I thought he brought up a pretty good point. How, if you are not a diehard Buckeye fan, and even if you are, right, we had the expectations that Arvell Reese was going to be good. We saw him in spots last year. We knew that he was going to be more than capable of being a great starting linebacker for this team. But I thought he made an interesting point that all the fans' attention is going to Arvell, kind of like last year how all the fans' attention went to Sonny Styles. And Cody Simon was the unheralded MVP of this team. Now he got his flowers, obviously, in the last 4 games in the playoffs. But I feel like we're doing that same thing again. It's like, do you see what Arvell did? Do you see what he did? I'm like, yeah, well, Sonny's doing the same exact thing. He's better than what he was last year as well.
Oh, much better. And that's what people last year were like, what's wrong with Sonny? Yeah. At the beginning of the season, I go, the guy is playing his first games at linebacker in his life. Not in college, in his life. He was forever a safety. And so it took him a little bit to by the way, and Sonny's versatility is what caused some of those problems because they're like, hey, Cody's down. You can play Mike because we really don't feel good about Arvell and his first time playing Mike. And, you can play Sam. You can play all of them because you've got great position versatility due to your physical abilities, but also due to your mental capabilities. And so I think having Arvell there, yeah, he's made some unbelievable plays. But Sonny has really absorbed a lot of Cody Simon's role as well, with the ability to communicate to Caleb and marry the front to the secondary and all of those things. So, yes, while he's still making plays physically, you need guys out there that can mentally get the job. This defense is very complex. There's a lot of calls that you can make independent of each other that takes the call. You're the food connoisseur.
Oh, yeah.
It takes that steak that may be a grade A prime steak, and what do you want to get? Do you want to get peppercorn crust?
Yeah, the au poivre.
Do you want to get maybe a
some
little
béarnaise.
Yeah, grenades, like all those things. Well, what am I going to pair it with? Well, here's some of those pairing options. And so all of those different things together, that's kind of this Matt Patricia defense. You've got a great grade A prime choice steak, and then you've got all of the different fixings and things that you can do to doctor it up. And Sonny and Caleb have done a great job of being able to help navigate that.
Hey, before we get you out of here, any idea of what the private equity Big Ten thing was about? Because Justin and I and Isaiah last night were racking our brain for 10 minutes. And for the life of me, as you know, not a big private equity guy. What is that all about? Because you have to give up something, but it seems like from a Big Ten perspective, they were giving up nothing. Can you give us like a minute-long crash course on what this whole thing was about?
Yeah, that's disappointing with Jay-Z. I mean, he graduated from Fisher with me, so he's a business major, so I expect a little more out of him, Beam. I will say this. There are teams in the Big Ten that I'm not sure what they do with their $85 million.
Yeah.
And, like, what has Rutgers been doing with it, UCLA? Like, some of it I think is they're just getting a half share, but, like, Purdue, like, how are you not better? You get the same share that Ohio State gets. Now, granted, there's other things going on. I get all that. You've got other expenses, but some of those schools need money. And I don't know if you saw the recent Kansas donation where the guy gave like $250 million, and they put $100 in an annuity. So it would just give them like $5 or $6 million a year just for like NIL and operations. So I think that's kind of the plan of what they're trying to do with this $2 billion. And in doing that, you're going to give up some of your TV share. They'd have to extend the grant of rights. But also this is an opportunity for Ohio State. So they say, and Ted Carter and Ross York have said this, we're great partners. We have no desire to leave the Big Ten. But also, like, let's be honest where the value in that TV contract lies. So they said Michigan and Ohio State may be two of the ones that may not be all in on this, and they're the two that provide the most value. And so there may not be completely symmetrical distribution of the money going forward if this is something that everybody agrees to, if you catch my drift, Pete.
I do catch your drift, indeed. It was like the Florida State and Clemson situation, what we saw in the ACC, of them trying to break the grant of rights because they believe that they should make more. And I'm in no place and point to tell them that they shouldn't. And I think that's what Ohio State is finally doing. Bob, always appreciate the time. Thanks for carving us in to your busy schedule. Have a great talk tonight. Looking forward to hearing about the event. And Theo, thanks you very much for the tomahawk bone the other day, all right?
Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed. Thanks for jamming me in there, Beam. You can jam it on in anywhere.
Absolutely. There he goes. Carp with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. The Washington trip came at a perfect time for the Buckeyes. You're going to hear from Ryan Day, what he had to say on his radio show coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
At the Ohio Lottery, we make Keno fun, your way. That means you pick your wager. Will it be $1, $2, a crisp $20? Your call. Like picking your own numbers? Use any inspiration you like. Birthdays, jersey numbers, you name it. And if you don't feel like choosing, there's the Super Quick Auto Pick. With regular promotions that'll get you more bang for your Keno buck, multiple ways to win, prizes galore, and live draws every few minutes. Anytime is the right time to get in on the Keno action. Keno is always fun, your way. Lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is fast for cash. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. I buy vacant properties, inherited homes, divorce situations, death in the family. I even buy my tenants won't pay me the rent houses. Give us a call today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
Modern Office Methods, your authorized RICO dealer, can help your business optimize your print production with a competitive advantage. Our digital printing options will expand the type of paper and substrates from what your business can print on today. Add variable data capability, which allows for personalization of catalogs and mailers, and the ability for short-run label printing, which allows your business to print high volumes of custom labels quickly and on demand. Want to learn more? Start with a print assessment at momnet.com. Why risk it? You can count on Mom.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Common Man has hosted shows with radio royalty, Spielman, Tor, T-Bone, just to name a few. So listen to his new show with Timmy Hall. If man can pull this one off, he's a miracle worker. Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays at 3.
The Fan.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Sunny skies, light winds, and a comfortable finish on this Thursday. Temperatures around 80 degrees. Overnight, we'll drop back down to the low to mid-50s with mainly cloudy skies and light winds, and return to some sunshine in the afternoon and a warm finish back in the low to mid-80s by Friday afternoon. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
It's time for your daily dose of vitamin B. B stands for Buckeyes, just in case that wasn't clear. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
You can join us right here on The Fan live on campus Saturday, as Ohio State will get ready to host Minnesota. We're tailgating at the O Patio and Pub on Lane, beginning at 10 a.m. And yes, the game is at 7:30. So if you get there at 10 a.m., have a couple of waters, mix them in, featuring live bands, great food, and a fun time. The Fan at the O Patio Pub on Lane is sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers, Jameson Whiskey, Didn't Go to College, and Coors Light. That's right.
Bobby just explained how to get through the day. So
yeah,
if you
I know.
missed that, listen back, because he gave a good breakdown of how to handle tailgating, pre-gaming, whatever you're doing for a night game. So
yeah, for sure. Your game days obviously look a little bit different.
A little bit.
Than everybody going, the 105,000 people we're expecting to see at Ohio Stadium on Saturday evening. But yeah, get out there early and often. How many times are you going to have a 75-degree weather day ending up in a primetime night game on a Saturday here in Columbus?
Not very often anymore.
No, I don't think so. Weather update for you, too. I know that Jerry just gave us one. Let's look at the 10-day, shall we? And the 10-day is going to give us on Saturday. Saturday, 87 degrees and mostly sunny. Whoa!
A couple waters, I'd say. Maybe 2 or 3.
Well, to be fair to me, I have my location set on Dayton on the weather app, so I don't know if it's going to be a couple of degrees cooler. No, still 87 and sunny. Yeah, I know that we call Dayton the South, but it's mostly the same weather. Yeah, I would say probably 6 or 7 waters during the course of the day. You'd be all right.
Yeah, you should definitely sprinkle some of those in. Maybe bring one of the, what are those packs? The little powder,
like the electrolyte
liquid IV
pack.
stuff. Yeah, those type of things. Maybe bring one of those with you. Put it in some water. I don't know how you shake it up if you're just like at a bar or tailgate without like a closed thing, but you could figure it out.
You're getting some crazy looks if you hold on to it for too long. You got to get it in the water.
Yeah, you do. You do. You need to make sure that the pocket to bottle ratio is quick on that. You don't want to shake it up too much. That's a good job, Isaiah. Here was Ryan Day earlier from his radio show about the complimentary football and how Ohio State is trending to where they want to be on that aspect right now.
The game on Saturday could have gone a bunch of different ways, but after we didn't convert on the 4th down and we had the penalty there on the 30-yard line going in, it turned into a different style of game. I thought we did a really good job in the middle 8 and played well in the second half, but only ended up with 6 possessions. But the number one goal, first road game against a team that had won 22 straight there, was to win the game. We felt like the defense was playing strong, and I thought we controlled the ball on offense for the majority of the game. Only punted once, I think, in the last 2 games. But when you're going against teams that are going to keep it in front and force you to work the ball all the way down the field, you got to finish drives in the red area, and so that's a huge emphasis, as we know it always is. But it's even more now.
Yeah, I think that's been the one thing nitpicky about this Ohio State offense, Patrick, is that, all right, red zone efficiency is not where Ohio State wants them to be, certainly not where Ryan Day wants them to be. It's good. Like, the offense is good. You know what you have on defense. You want to see that get cleaned up, and what a better way to do that than at home against Minnesota, which possesses a pretty darn good defense.
Yes. Well, until they ran into a Big Ten team last week, where Rutgers was able to move the ball on the ground. But I do think this will be a challenge to some degree. Look, I think the red zone situation, it's about execution right now. Like, you're 4th and 1, you line up in the eye, you just have to get it done. You're watching other teams around the country do that. C.J. Donaldson, block or not by Nate Roberts, needs to be able to run through a linebacker.
Also, shout out to Nate Roberts of being in that play and a very important juncture of the game as a freshman.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Ryan Day was asked this week about, would you guys consider using a fullback or recruiting a fullback, like somebody who actually is designated
They still make those?
Apparently, I guess at some schools.
What does it say on the 24/7 Sports Composite rankings? Do you guys have a fullback tab?
I think it just falls under running back, but I'll double check that for you. But basically Ryan said no, they would not do that.
Agreed.
He said they needed to be able to do more than just be a fullback, and what he basically described was like Mike Allstott, which is like,
well, that's
if
you're gonna describe a fullback, yes, then Mike Allstott would be the one to describe.
The type of guy, he's like, he needs to be able to catch, he needs to be able to run the ball, he needs to be able to block. And I'm like, look, not
Kyle Juszczyk, fullback.
Yeah, but he doesn't catch the ball too much.
Have fun with him tonight.
Yeah.
Kyle Juszczyk, anytime touchdown scorer is what I hear. Receiving variety.
Yeah.
You just jinxed yourself, Pat. You as a Rams fan just jinxed yourself for Thursday Night Football.
That's all right. But anyway, I think that Nate Roberts has done a good job. It wasn't the most well-executed play, but you need to just get that cleaned up. Like, it seems to me simple enough. And if that's not going to work, you need to find other plays that will. I'm curious because every time I see Bo Jackson out there, he's falling forward. I know he's not as big as C.J. Donaldson. I know you brought C.J. Donaldson in to be your short yardage situation guy in addition to other things. But if Bo Jackson is going to get a yard when you need a yard and C.J. Donaldson isn't going to do it consistently, you may have to do that. Now, I think C.J. still earns the right to try it a few more times. And obviously, he has scored a couple touchdowns in short yard situations, so he can do it.
Scored a couple last week.
Yeah. One of them was not.
It was a fourth down situation.
It was.
Though.
You're right. Look, that's what I'm saying. Do some different things. Okay, throw it to C.J. And that play was set up by a play they ran earlier.
It was.
So
it was the long game.
Yeah. But
you still want to get that first one.
I think that, and then when they are comfortable unleashing Julian completely, like, we don't need, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. We know Julian's going to go out and throw it, 20 times or whatever. And I think that starts this weekend after the second half that he had, really the end of the first half and the whole second half last week. And I understand completely why it was a conservative approach. I don't like it. It wasn't fun to watch at times, but as Ryan Day also said,
pragmatic though.
They win the game.
Win the game. That's it.
And look,
we like to do this a lot. Like we do. We nitpick the wins, and when Ohio State loses, we lose our minds. They're winning. They're an undefeated football team. They're the best team in college football right now. Their defense is out of control, and their offense with a first-time starting quarterback is okay, having their growing pains at times, but he's still one of the most accurate quarterbacks in college football. Like, yes, I know that you want every win. We want every win to be 70-0. It's not how it's going to happen. That's a pretty good Washington football team that you just played, and Minnesota coming in with a pretty good defense as well. I don't expect their offense to score many points, but I think that this is a pretty good test at home for, again, Julian Sand as a young quarterback.
Absolutely. And I think Ryan Day, he wants it as much as anybody to look offensively like it did when CJ and Justin were running the offense, right? He was asked this week about...
At the very end, last year with Will, it looked awesome.
Right. Are you okay with winning with defense? And he talked about how, it may seem that way, but no, like he wants to score a bunch of points. He's like, it doesn't sound that way on the headset if you listen to that, which would be a fun story to do sometime.
How much would you pay?
How much would I pay?
How much would you pay? How much would your company be willing to pay to put you, Patrick Murphy, on the headset to hear an in-game convo? To be on fly on that wall.
How much can I use, though? Can I use everything I hear?
I'm just asking you what you think it would take to get on headset. If you came to Ohio State, what would an offer be that they said, okay, we'll let this guy get on headset for the game?
I think I would have to apply for a job on the coaching staff.
And they would say no.
They would say no because I'm not qualified. But it would be something. I imagine, I've never been on a headset before for any kind of football game. But I imagine it gets pretty interesting.
It gets dicey.
Not safe for work type of words.
It gets dicey
sometimes.
for sure.
Yeah. I've just been close enough to the sideline in some big games to hear some things that get yelled. So I can
even
imagine.
Not in big games.
Yeah. I mean, even when things are going well, you get yelling in a positive way.
If you want to experience one of the most intense places in the world, go to a college football sideline, ask if you can just stand 10 yards away from any coach on the sideline, and you will realize what it means to these guys. If Minnesota has any edge against the Buckeyes on Saturday, what is it? We're going to ask Spencer Holbrook of Lettermen Row coming up here in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Finally, fall is here. The leaves are changing, the air is crisp, and the cooler temperatures are a welcome relief. But as those temperatures continue to drop, it's also a reminder that winter is just around the corner. We know it might feel a little early to start talking about freezing temperatures and snow, but now is the perfect time to make sure your roof is ready. Before the winter weather hits, wouldn't you like the peace of mind that your home is protected? If you're unsure about the condition of your roof or just want to be prepared for the months ahead, call the professionals you can trust at Newman Roofing. With over 30 years in business and 3 generations of Newmans in the roofing industry, we're dedicated to educating you about your roof so you understand exactly what's happening. We believe that an informed homeowner can make the very best decision for their needs. Give us at Newman Roofing a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Let Newman Roofing help you prepare for winter the right way.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
I love the neighborhood where I grew up, but it was tough.
Ohio State championship quarterback Cardale Jones.
Football helped me find my direction, but I also needed the right support system. I remember seeing that CareSource heart around town and just knowing they had my back. That's the kind of difference they still make in neighborhoods like mine. And that means the world to so many children today. My name is Cardale Jones, and I was a CareSource kid.
CareSource, your Medicaid, your choice. Visit caresource.com/Medicaid.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource. Proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
The only radio show that bleeds scarlet and gray. This is the Buckeye Show.
Hey now, my guy Patrick Murphy tonight. We're here until 8 o'clock, and then we will whisk you away to Los Angeles. The Rams are entertaining the 49ers. I know Pat's excited about that one. Right now, though, we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Gas Hotline. Check with our great friend He is of Lettermen Row. He is Spencer Holbrook. Spence, what's happening? How excited are you to get back in Ohio Stadium Saturday for what will be like the second time in 6 weeks before this team takes the show back on the road again?
Yeah, it's weird. It's the best month of the year. Argue with the wall, and we only get to go to the Horseshoe once. It kind of sucks, but I guess that's the way that the schedule. I kind of want to get Ryan Day's opinion on that. Just what it's like to know that you're only going to see your home crowd once in October. I guess they kind of saw it out in Washington, considering there were 20,000 Ohio State fans there. But it is kind of a weird scheduling quirk that I hope doesn't happen very often.
What did you make out of the Washington crowd, the whole scene? I was talking to Austin on Tuesday, Spence, when he was doing the show. He said you guys had a great time checking out Husky Harbor.
Yeah, it was really cool. You walk into the stadium and you're like, oh, this is pretty close to the water. And then you go down, and I think there's the practice field just between the stadium and the water. Oh, it's really close to the water. Like they actually pull the boats right up, drop the anchor, and then they just get on a little paddle boat or whatever and go over to the stadium. It was one of the coolest settings I've ever seen for a college football game. I understand why they call it the greatest setting in college football. I don't know if I'd go that far, considering that Ohio State fans kind of gobbled up some of the secondary market tickets and made it a little bit of not a muted atmosphere, but we were expecting 130 decibels, and instead Ohio State fans kind of made sure that didn't happen. So I would love to see it when they're playing like somebody that doesn't have the largest alumni base in the world. But I still thought it was a really cool atmosphere, and I'm already looking forward to that 2029 trip when we get back out there.
I thought it was crazy how many people stayed out on their boats during the game. Like, I kept looking over. I'm like, these people just aren't coming in, I guess. They're just hanging out there. And they were tailgating, and it looked like a grand old time if you don't care about the football game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Barry Bonds isn't hitting one into McCovey Cove over there, guys. You can come join the fun in the
You don't
stadium.
think Jaden Fielding could hit one, Spencer, into Husky Harbor?
He said that he had 63 in his bag last night, so you never know, I guess.
I think they were probably waiting for Julian to just chuck one out there, but he didn't get to throw too much in the first half. Speaking of which, Beam and I were just talking about the offense. We've heard from Ryan Day a couple times this week. He's talked about the lack of plays, especially in the first half, the number of drives. What did you make of Ohio State's offense and kind of how they operate, especially early on?
Well, I think it's interesting that Ryan Day has talked about that, because it is kind of his own doing. They're the slowest paced team in college football. If they wanted to, they could run more plays, but they're being very methodical. They're establishing the line of scrimmage, which I fully respect and endorse. Especially in the first half, I thought they were a little too conservative, but at the same time, they were averaging 5 yards a carry, and so it's hard to debate that when you know that you're going to get 5 yards when you touch the football in the run game. So. I didn't completely hate the game plan. I thought that there were times where they could have been a little bit more aggressive, but then you look out there and Washington's got those 2 high safeties or 3 safeties, and you get in a light box, and yeah, you're going to run into that. Yeah, you're going to try to take what they give you, but I think there are still some things that they can do as far as quick passing game, as far as just getting the balls to the perimeter to their playmakers. But at the same time, like I said, if you're going to, against this Minnesota team, on paper looks like a really good running defense, but at the same time, they haven't really played anybody. So if you're going to get good yardage on the ground, I'm not going to debate that. I just wish that there were times that they could get the ball out to the perimeter a little quicker.
Spencer, I'm glad that you mentioned Minnesota coming into town here. I was reading your article on LettermenRow.com a little bit earlier today. Does Minnesota have any edge of any position group in your mind coming into the Horseshoe for homecoming Saturday evening, Spencer?
Well, I think it depends, Beam. I'm waiting on that injury report. PJ Fleck told us to keep track of the injury report that comes out 2 hours before kickoff. That'll be 5:30 for those keeping track at home. And I'm telling you, if Darius Taylor is not on there and he's got a clean bill of health and he's ready to go, I would not really hesitate to give the running back edge there, because they've been really good with him in the lineup. When he's not in the lineup, though, the offense kind of becomes a mess. They become a little pass first. I don't think anybody at Minnesota wants to be known as a pass first operation, including PJ as a former wide receiver himself and wide receivers coach. So if he's in the lineup, I think there's an argument to be made. And as good as Coy Parrish is, you're never going to take the Minnesota safety tandem over what we're seeing in Columbus. So yeah. I think there's. I guess I did mull over the defensive line a little bit. I think Anthony Jones, they've got a couple of really good pieces on that defensive interior that I really like, and a couple guys on the edge as well from Minnesota. But it was really difficult to find a spot where you say, like, man, if you could swap out a group right now, would you do it? I don't think I would with this Minnesota team. And that's saying something because it is a talented club, but it's just not at the level that Ohio State has.
You mentioned Minnesota's defense, but you look at last week, they played Rutgers, the first Big Ten team they faced, and Antoine Raymond runs for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know that it's a small sample size, but what do you make of what the Buckeyes will face, especially against the run?
Yeah, it's Minnesota looks really good on paper when it comes to stopping the run. Northwestern State couldn't run on them. Cal, who lost their 8 leading I'm not kidding. Cal lost its 8 leading rushers from last year.
They also lost that game, to be fair.
Yeah, and we knew that Cal wasn't going to be able to run on them. Cal can't run on anybody, and Cal still won that game. And so then you put him up again, and then Buffalo. And I don't think, we don't know much about the MAC. We know that Buffalo's not going to. Yeah, exactly. There you go. And so you stole the words right out of my mouth there, Beans. But I just think that the Minnesota run defense is it might be the most misleading October stat I've ever seen in college football, because they are a top 5 national run defense. But then you look over at what they just did against Rutgers, or lack thereof, and you think, okay, maybe Ohio State can get something on the ground against these guys. Oh, by the way, I think Rutgers kind of did some good things getting chunk plays by throwing it down the field a little bit too. So I'm not sure if this is your older brother's Minnesota, where they play good defense and run the football. This is more of a high-scoring operation than we're used to for Minnesota.
He is Spencer Holbrook of Lettermen Row with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Spence, what do you make of Tywone Malone's emergence on this defensive line? Now that Edric Houston has dealt with some penalty issues, right, has kind of been not relegated to the bench. I mean, they are rotating in there, but Tywone Malone and his emergence, I know that Ryan Day has kind of been pretty gushing about Tywone this week.
Yeah, I thought his PFF grade, which was one of the lowest on the defense, was really misleading. I thought he had a nice game there at Washington, including it was the first drive of the game. Damon Williams tries to get loose a little bit, and Tywone sticks one of his big paws out there and corrals him, and everybody gets to the football and brings him down. I thought that was a really important play to kind of set the tone. He's been good, and Ryan Day was sure to praise him. If there's a vacuum there, somebody's got to fill it, and I guess in one vein somebody had to do it, but in another vein, I think Tywone's just kind of stepped up and taken that. I do think that they're going to need Edric to get going a little bit if they're going to reach their ceiling as a defense. But in the meantime, not only is Tywone showing that he's capable of doing it for the future, but you got to think that Edric at some point is going to come out of that, and then you're going to have 2 capable 3-techs when really that was probably the spot on the defense that we weren't sure about the most. I think this is nothing but a benefit to Ohio State. If Edric comes out of the funk that he's in, and he gets his act together, but you know what I'm trying to say here. He starts to come alive and show what we thought he was going to be in the preseason, as well as Tywone Malone is already playing at a high level. I think you're talking about a defensive line that goes from a concern to a real strength as we move deeper into October. And then another thing is, if Edric does get going, he's going to be pretty fresh because he just hasn't played a lot of football this year for whatever reason. So I don't see a real downside to this, except for obviously you would love for Edric to be playing at a high level, but you're learning something about your depth, and you got to think that he's going to come out of it eventually.
If you were in charge of this offense, who would be the first running back to take a carry for you on Saturday night?
I think it would probably be Bo Jackson, but I understand why it was C.J. Donaldson this past weekend. That first possession, you were there, Pat. It was pretty loud. It was pretty raucous. I thought that the Washington crowd, for what it wasn't, did a really nice job in those first couple of series when there was still a lot of hope in that stadium. And so, I get why C.J. Donaldson was kind of one of the featured backs there on the first couple of drives. But at this point, it's hard to deny what we're seeing. Now, I also think that it's worth remembering that Trayvon Henderson, throughout the course of his freshman year, did kind of hit a little bit of a wall, and I think they've learned from that. So there might be games where Bo Jackson doesn't touch the football 15 times, but I think that's going to be a better thing for them come December and January because that's what they've got their eyes on. So I think it should probably be Bo, just to signify, like, hey, you've officially earned this. but I understand why it's not, and I also understand why they still want to get a lot of carries to C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples to make sure those guys are ready in case, you need them down the road as well as a featured back.
Follow up to that question. If you were still in charge of this Ohio State offense, how many targets in your ideal world does Jeremiah Smith get on a game-by-game basis?
Well, I think that's a great question, but I'm watching the game back over from Saturday, and they were backing off of him, and Julian was faking the throw every time he handed it off, and they were running to a light box like I talked about earlier. But Jeremiah had the free release, like little out route that he ran ad nauseum there in the second half. They could have just done that on every play until Washington decided to come up on him, and then they could have hit him over the top. So they can do it on every play. I think there's an argument to be made that you should start that way and just say, well, if you're going to back off of him and not let him beat you deep, we are going to, 7 yards at a time, death by 1,000 cuts you down the field. But I think it would probably be somewhere between 10 and 15, and I would still probably have people complaining about the play calling because that's our favorite thing to get mad about in college football is the play caller. So, but I think it would probably be around 10 or 15.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair number. He is Spencer Holbrook, the noted nephew of Aunt Karen Holbrook.
Absolute drunken orgies.
Hey, before we let you go, Spence, it is homecoming weekend. The Fangs are going to be out. It's a primetime game. Is Aunt Karen going to be out in the parking lot patrolling on Saturday, or do Buckeye fans have carte blanche?
She better be, because think about this. Normally homecoming game is for the 35-year-olds and the 40-year-olds who graduate from Ohio State, come back and get a little rowdy in the morning, see a noon game, and then, go wherever they may go, their local watering hole after the game.
Sleep the rest of the day, maybe.
Yeah, a college reunion. Well, now those same people that are here for homecoming get the entire day to sit out in the sun. I saw the weather report. It's going to be fantastic. They're going to get to sit out in the sun all day, do all of that with about 7.5 hours extra, and then go into that stadium. So, hey, Aunt Karen's going to have her hands full this weekend. I don't envy her position as the chief police officer for the parking lot this weekend at all.
She wants to let you know to put your sunscreen on if you're going out to tailgate for 7.5 hours for the Buckeye game. Spence, always appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on tonight. Have a great rest of the night, buddy. Enjoy the game Saturday, and we'll check in again soon, okay?
Thanks, guys. Always appreciate it.
There he goes, our guy, Spencer Holbrook of Lettermen Row, with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Pat, you were over at the Woody last night. What was your biggest takeaways? We're going to get that coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
The meatloaf!
The Fan.
Go, go, go!
Fox Tonight takes you to hell and back.
Let's go!
First, an all-new Hell's Kitchen has
The Battle of the States.
who will make their hometown proud.
Good luck on that one.
Then, Special Forces goes deep.
You're going underwater in an aircraft.
This is one of my biggest fears.
You will potentially die.
These celebrities will learn why it's called the world's toughest test.
She's unconscious.
Get him dive possessed!
Come here, come on, girl, breathe.
Tonight, starting at 8 on Fox 28.
At the end of the day, the sun sets on Central Ohio, but stories are still unfolding. Every voice, every neighborhood, every question that still needs answers. Fox 28 News at 10 is there in the quiet moments and at the turning points, digging deeper, finding solutions, lifting up the communities that shape who we are. At the end of the day, you deserve a team that's on your side. Fox 28 News at 10, always on your side.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with low prices in every aisle. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our low prices. Kroger shoppers never compromise. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
The Donato's Pep Duo Pizza is back, and it brought a pal. The Donato's Pep Duo, loaded with crispy pepperoni and 3 kinds of cheese. Now get a large Pep Duo pizza for just $14.99. Also back, Donato's deliciously dippable pepperoni cheese bread. Now on the $5 Pizza Pals menu for a limited time. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's, gotta love more.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
We're 1-800-GOT-JUNK. I was told you could make us feel better. You're suffering from too much junkitis. Point at something you haven't used lately. Wow, it's gone. Try it, honey. You'll feel light as a feather.
Something I haven't used?
All you have to do is point.
I feel like I'm flying.
That's the sound of optimism and energy and possibilities. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
At Baths R Us, we believe home improvement is life improvement, and that starts with the team who brings your vision to life. Our installers aren't just skilled, they're experts.
This is who we are. This is what we do all day, every day.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. 380-225-2284. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
Morning Juice is live on YouTube. Weekday mornings starting at 6. Or on demand whenever you want it. Yeah, whenever. Bobby Carpenter's at your beck and call. And Tito's there too, to clean the toilets. Head to YouTube and subscribe today. It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. We're very close to Buckeye football. Very close. Uncomfortably close. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
And a big one for Murph tomorrow. The Capital Ford of Columbus High School football game of the week. Take us to Olentangy Liberty tomorrow evening as the defending Division I state champions host undefeated Upper Arlington. Coverage is going to start at 6:30. We get the kickoff at 7. And then after that, it's the Byers Dublin Subaru overtime with Ryan Baker and Lee Cochran. Friday nights are for high school football right here on The Fan. You should go.
If Olentangy weren't so far away, I might consider it.
It's not that far away, Pat.
It's like,
you need to get outside of the bubble. Are you one of those UA people that say that anytime that you leave between the rivers that only bad things happen?
No.
Because I have met many people from Upper Arlington like that. You can't leave. Everyone has their bubble. I've got my bubble. You have your bubble. Everyone's got their bubble. It's okay to have a bubble. It's fine. It's safe. It's safe in the bubble. You know what you know. You go to your places. You like it. You grocery shop where you want to shop. It's great. Sometimes you need to leave the rivers.
For the record, I do not live in Upper Arlington. I just lived in Upper Arlington.
Yes, but you now live in Grandview, which is...
Well, thanks. Now everyone's got to look for me.
Yeah, we've just doxed Pat Murphy live on the air.
That's fine. No, it's really the 270 loop is I just stay within there.
Okay, you stay inside
That's my rather large belt. Yeah, I mean, like going to Olentangy Liberty is like almost going out to Adam King's house, and no one needs to do that.
But now you just doxed him.
Well, I didn't say where. He doesn't live in Olentangy. He just lives further away.
Yeah, he does.
Spencer Holbrook, who we just had on, also lives outside the outer belt. So I not that he ever invites me over.
Correct.
I can't do that.
I'm an in the belt guy. That's my bubble.
So
I'm an in the belt kind of guy.
Look, here's what happened. Here's
Other
what
than
would
the
happen.
zoo in my dad's house.
You really break it for the zoo. The zoo is the spot.
Well, he's got a kid.
Yes, I have a 2.5-year-old.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes, I break it for the zoo, Isaiah. I'm sorry to disappoint you.
You named 2 places. You're like, the zoo, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
the
for
zoo
sure.
and your dad's
This is a world-class zoo, all right?
You're halfway to Olentangy. You just keep going.
Yeah. You're pretty close when you get to the zoo.
By the way, break it for the zoo. Great band name, album name. It should fit in the music world.
It should. I'm with you on that.
Maybe if somebody drives me
How
out
many
there
times per year, other than like game day, other than your job traveling, because I know that you travel a lot. You go to football games. You were just in Washington last week. How many times a year do you think you get outside of the outer belt, just on any given occasion?
More than I would like.
And not
probably.
traveling to Sarah's family.
No.
Which live up in Northeast Ohio. If we're doxing people, we're just going to dox them.
So I used to work, before I did all this, I worked at, coming out of college, I worked at Soccer Plus in Westerville.
Okay.
And
just outside of the outer belt.
Yes, just outside. And my old manager still works there. So I will go in and see him and the boss from time to time, especially if I need something. So that I will do. But other than that, not
the only place you're leaving the Beltway for is Soccer Plus.
I thought the zoo was bad. Now it's Soccer Plus.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That's worse than mine.
That is.
I'm trying to think what other times, like on a regular basis, I would go outside the belt. It's not that often. I recently learned that the Upper Arlington Grinders, WG Grinders, closed. And so if I want that, I now have to leave the outer belt.
Yeah, you do, because there's one. Well, I don't know if that's outside of the outer belt, is it?
I don't know.
There's one down there on West Broad.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And there's one off of like close to 161. I think it's on Liberty.
I don't know. When I looked it up
which would be Olentangy School District.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago I looked it up because I was like, oh, I'm going to call an order, and it just the phone was
Doesn't
dead.
exist.
So I looked it up, and it was like the closest one, and I was like, nope, that's too far. Sorry, Grinders. It's not very often, but like. What if you don't live outside the outer belt? If you live inside the outer belt, what are you going outside the outer belt for?
The zoo.
Yeah,
and Soccer Plus.
I don't have a 2-year-old, so. But like, really,
you can still go enjoy the animals, Pat. They have beer there.
To be fair, I do go most holiday seasons because Sarah likes to do the zoo lights. Yeah, so we do that. I won't say it happens every year.
This is going to surprise you. Zoo Light's too busy for us, so we don't go during Zoo Lights.
Yeah, that's not surprising at all. I imagine you also only go to the zoo during
like 9 o'clock on Tuesdays.
Yeah, when no one is there.
Yes, that is correct.
It's
Weekends,
like how I like to go to amusement parks.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine to live your way that life. So Pat, over under leaving the outer belt, other than Soccer Plus, we're going to put it at like 3.5. And I think if I were you, I would hammer the under. You were at the Woody last night. What did you take away? Who was the surprise coach to be named later that you got to talk to?
First of all, Woody inside the outer belt, by the way.
Yes, that is facts.
There was no surprise coach.
Oh, okay.
It was going to be James Laurinaitis. I do not know what happened, but Minnesota, he's from
busy
there. That was the thinking there by Jerry Emig, but it did not happen. I did learn Austin Sareveld, who is from sort of the Cincinnati area. Not a Cincinnati sports fan.
Okay.
Someone asked him about
Lives
the Reds.
outside of the outer belt.
He did, well, not now, I don't think. But somebody asked about the Reds, and he was just like, it's bad luck for a Cincinnati kid to cheer for Cincinnati sports. And I was just like, oh, okay. But
he's not missing much.
No. I am really impressed, and I know we've talked to them many times, but Austin Sareveld, Luke Montgomery were both guys we spoke to last night. And not only are they having great seasons, and I mean great seasons, I know the stats been thrown around about Austin Sareveld and not giving up a pressure, the only tackle that has accomplished that thus far. But Luke Montgomery, I mean, you can run behind him. Almost every time they've run in those short yard situations, they've run behind Luke Montgomery, and he's doing his job. I'll tell you that. So, but really impressed, not just that, but the way they talk. Austin Sareveld, he's said before, like he's not big into doing the interviews, but he's really kind of blossomed in that setting. He's
a good answer.
Yeah. And so I think not only do you have some really talented offensive linemen, you've got some really good interviews, which is important for me. They also talked about 4 of the 5 offensive linemen from Ohio.
Yeah.
The last time Ohio State had 5 offensive linemen, any idea?
They have 5 offensive linemen all the
from
time.
Ohio. Well, that's not always true. You can sub a guy in.
2014?
I believe that is correct.
Okay.
Yeah. But they also said that Carson Hinsman, being a Midwest kid, grew up on, farm situation, honorary Ohio guy, and then
does break into that Wisconsin accent pretty quickly if you let him.
Oh yeah, I mean we talked to him last week and it was pretty quick. It was like, oh right, you're from Wisconsin.
Yeah,
that was. But
you're from outside the outer belt.
Austin Sareveld was asked like,
may as well be Wisconsin.
What does he have to do to become an honorary Ohio guy? And Austin was like, well, I think he already has. He was like, is he okay with that? And Austin was like, no, I haven't told him. So, I imagine coming to Ohio State, you're probably all right with that.
I would too.
I think Ryan Day was asked about like having, he uses the term edge with a lot of players. Mm-hmm. And he talked about like that as a team philosophy of like, we are not going to back down to anybody. And I think that that's really important. Flashback a few years when we're talking about toughness and the teams, I know they lost to Michigan last year, but like it wasn't a lack of toughness last year.
Well, I think that team was tough as nails last year.
And
if anything, it was, tough as nails to rebound it the way that they did.
Right. Agreed. But I think this team,
not abating the loss or anything like that, but to rebound the way that they did, I do think it shows you the fortitude.
Yes. And I think this team is different, but has a similar, whether you want to use edge, toughness, whatever it is. And I think Saturday at Washington, you saw some of that. Like, because toughness doesn't necessarily mean like you're going to get in someone's face. You're going to throw up, you don't need.
Caden Curry will, but.
Right. And Phillip Daniels.
Yeah.
But you just need to be able to deal with tough situations, handle. You're talking about the bounce back last year, like those type of things. And like, I think Spencer kind of downplayed the atmosphere at Washington. I know there were a lot of Buckeye fans there, and at one point, the defensive linemen were pumping up the crowd, and you could hear them. And, they were also right in front of us in the press box. But I was really impressed. Like 70,000 people, the way that sounded. If you'd closed your eyes and told me I was in Happy Valley, I wouldn't have said you were crazy. So, like, I think
they did have the loudest decibel point to a stadium ever.
Yeah.
At one point in time,
and
for like 30 years.
You can see why. The one thing I was disappointed with, and maybe this will happen at some point in time, but by the time we went down to the field at the end of the game was over. People were leaving. Mm-hmm. I did want to hear it as like at its peak, and we're only allowed down on the field in the fourth quarter, like the last 6 minutes or something. So I would like to hear what it sounds like on the field, because last year at Oregon, obviously that game was super close. Yeah. Everyone was still there screaming their heads off. And like, I was trying to talk to people on the sidelines and it wasn't happening. And I felt that way at Penn State before too. So I would like to experience that sometime, not to the detriment of the Buckeyes.
Sure.
But, so I think that edge, that toughness, it's going to be tested every week. Like, you can say it now, but you have to prove it every week. And I think the coaches have done a good job of bringing that out of guys. But I think a lot of these guys have what you need, the right makeup, I would say.
Dynasties in college football are dead. That's at least according to one SEC coach. We'll do that in the Pulse coming up next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
T-Bone and Tyvis are everything you want in a delicious breakfast. Lots of empty calories, no nutritional value.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Oven-baked French toast. Hot, melty cheese. And meat. And meat. And meat. Introducing UDF's new 3-meat French toast stackwich. Sweet and savory cinnamon swirl French toast piled with thick cut bacon, natural pork sausage, and smoky Canadian bacon. It's the newest flavor in our lineup of breakfast sandwiches. All stacked fresh, all served hot, and all made in store to make your morning. The new 3-meat French toast stackwich from UDF. Mornings made for you.
As part of our 2025 Commitment to Community initiative, Newman Roofing is proud to recognize individuals going above and beyond to make a difference for people of all abilities. This week, we would like to honor Jessica Komajati. Jessica has made an impact by being a Special Olympic Ohio Fit 5 advocate and youth leader, as well as a Buddy Walk committee member. This Down Syndrome Awareness Month, Newman Roofing is proud to partner with 10 TV and The Fan in our commitment to the community.
Buckeye fans, this is for you. Level up with the brand new AAA Buckeyes MVP membership. You'll receive all the benefits of AAA, such as 24/7 roadside assistance, plus chances to win tickets to Ohio State sporting events, access to exclusive MVP experiences, along with 10% off select gear at the Ohio State team shop. Already a AAA member? Add the Buckeyes MVP membership for free. Head to AAA.com/Buckeyes to upgrade or join the squad and put your fandom in drive.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus, The Fan.
I'm Isaiah Jacob with your sports update. Earlier today, the Cleveland Guardians fell 6-1. We also had the Chicago Cubs lead the San Diego Padres 2-0 in the middle of the third. And then later on tonight, the Red Sox and Yankees have their elimination game at 8 p.m. In NFL news, the San Francisco 49ers take on the LA Rams at 8:15 tonight. The 49ers are without starting quarterback Brock Purdy. Mac Jones will get the start. The 49ers are also missing their top 2 targets in Ricky Pearsall and Jawan Jennings. And then over in Baltimore, Lamar Jackson didn't practice for a second straight day. In addition to the 2-time NFL MVP being sidelined, Pro Bowl safety Kyle Hamilton did not practice after injuring his groin yesterday. This one's sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink high break. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Someone out there probably thinks we spend too much time talking about the Buckeyes. Please tell someone that they're stupid. You're listening to the Buckeye Show.
Hour number 2 for us here on this Thursday. Good job on the update there, Isaiah. Doing it live. Got to. Tough end of the season for your Guards.
It doesn't ever end the way you want it to, especially when you're a Cleveland fan.
Yeah.
The Guardians are like our only hope, where sometimes they like make us feel respected, where the Cavs this year didn't. The Browns never do.
As you say that, wearing your Cleveland shirt, which is definitely in Browns colors.
It is absolutely. I was gonna wear my Guardians jersey, but that felt like too much. Like I felt like we could win today, but if I wear the jersey, that means I'm gonna jinx it.
You could. I mean, do you feel good heading to London though? Because you've got backup quarterback Carson Wentz. JJ McCarthy's gonna be out again.
I do kind of have a sneaky feeling, which usually on Sundays makes me really bite it, but I feel kind of good on Sunday.
Feeling dangerous? You waking up feeling dangerous?
I am. I'm going to wake up at 8 a.m. and I'm going to get my hopes ready to be crushed.
Yeah, I think that's most NFL fans, other than Pat, who's won a Super Bowl in the last couple of years.
It's been more than a couple of years now.
Well, what was it, 2021?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Well,
that's super recent.
You still have one in your lifetime.
2, actually.
Oh, okay. Now you just want to rub it in, huh?
2 losses, too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. 4 Super Bowl appearances in your lifetime. You know what? You're banished to the Shadow Realm. No more for you. You're done.
Yeah,
You're done. You don't need any more in your lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all we have to say about that.
Yeah. Do you know, since we're talking Buckeyes, do you know the last home Big Ten primetime game that they played at the Shoe?
Last Big Ten home primetime game. Not off the top of my head, no.
2023 against Michigan State.
Okay.
It was the game that was hyped up to be really big, and then they won like 33-3 or whatever.
That was not the CJ game where they are up 49-0 at half. That was a different game.
No, similar score, but yeah. No,
that was Kyle McCord. That would have been Kyle McCord.
That was the game Marvin Harrison went crazy.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, Marv had 7 catches
crazy
for
in
150.
A lot of those games.
Yeah, 7 catches.
I could have said that for any of the games during that season.
Yeah, pretty much. 7 catches, 49 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Travion had a touchdown. Cade Stover also scored in that game.
Cade Stover.
38-3, by the way. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, how dare you get the score wrong.
Michigan State did not score in the second half.
Ooh.
They had 1 field goal in the second quarter.
Okay, so pretty good outing the last time you had a Big Ten home night game, which we're going to get on Saturday.
That works out that way.
Yeah, it's just taking a while. We just gobble up all those noon kicks.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Isaiah, what you got for us tonight, big dog?
All right, this one I really like, and this is from Lane Kiffin, stating that dynasties are now over, especially in the SEC. This is a quote from him from yesterday. He said, "In my opinion, the dynasties are over. Alabama with Coach Saban and then Kirby at Georgia, where they had those rosters year in and year out, and there would be a bunch of wins by 30 points in the conference. Those days are done." The reason he says this is he says, when I was at Alabama, they'd be like, go watch the outside linebackers, and there's 6 of them over there that are first-round picks. He said that's not going to happen anymore because if they don't play, then they're going to leave. They can't keep them all anymore.
Yeah, I mean, love or hate Lane Kiffin. I don't think anybody has really a middle ground on him and just thinks, yeah, okay, Lane Kiffin, whatever. I do think he's entertaining. I also think that he is one of the more unlikable college football coaches in college football. But at the same time, I do think he makes good points. I mean, he talked about it a couple of years when NIL kicked in and how free agency was here, and he was right about that. And he's kind of been thumping his chest, and he has every right to. I mean, they obviously had a big win this weekend in Ole Miss. We'll see what they do during the stretch run of the season, which is usually when they crumble. But nevertheless, I think it is a good point from Lane Kiffin. Like, yeah, SEC dynasties. First of all, nobody is ever replicating what Alabama did. All right, let's just pump the brakes on that. I certainly think that you would be able to go back-to-back like Georgia did. I think Ohio State's got a great team loaded up for this year, Pat. I know that you talked to Ryan Day in the summer about the idea of going back-to-back and like what that means. I don't necessarily agree with his statement on that, but when he says like, all right, well, these games are going to be closer because now kids can transfer from an Alabama to an Ole Miss or Mississippi State, pick your program, whatever it is. I do think he's right on that. I think you're going to see more closely contested college football contests than what you've seen in the past, and maybe some of these lopsided affairs. Every once in a while, you're just going to get an unbelievable recruiting class. You're going to hit the transfer portal out of the ballpark, and you're going to get a team that's good for 3-4 straight years that's going to be a national championship contender. I don't think that's changing. But inherently, the close games in conference play and what he's alluding to, I do think he's right on that.
Yes, I think there is some truth to what he's saying, but let's not confuse Georgia's back-to-back titles as a dynasty by any stretch of the imagination.
No, they've been really good.
Yeah.
They've been really good.
Yeah. I mean, so is Ohio State.
Correct.
So I think that there is an opportunity for other teams to be in the party, in the mix, which is what the 12-team playoff was about, right? And, that's because of the 12-team playoff, but also because of the things you're saying, transfer portal, NIL, all that. And I think that's, sitting here in Columbus, Ohio, is that great for Ohio State? No, probably not. You'd like to have an Alabama dynastic run if you could under Ryan Day. But
it might be coming. Who knows?
It could. I think that the sport as a whole, it's a positive thing. If you can get...
I think every college football Saturday, compared to where it was 10 years ago, is just, I don't want to say a better product. I don't know if the on-field product is better, but I think the majority of games being way more competitive is better for the sport. And you've seen ratings increases. Obviously, the Big Ten is getting private equity involved. It's the second most popular. Yes, maybe. It's the second most popular sport in America for a reason. I know that the NFL rules the roost and they are the king. But at the same time, all right, these games are competitive. You have got upsets basically every weekend in college football. The old days of putting $10 on every top 25 team and them just hammering through their opponents. Those days are long gone, Pat. We don't only see one, we see 2, 3, 4 upsets a weekend now in college football.
Right. And, I think that it helps balance things. It keeps other fan bases interested. But I still think that you can have... I mean, people were saying that before Nick Saban really got this going, right? And it was for different reasons. But then Nick Saban goes on that run, right? I think there will be, whether it's Ohio State, whether it's who knows what, I think there will be a team that does, maybe not Nick Saban level, but does, put together a handful of recruiting classes, goes on a run, maybe more like what Clemson had going there for a little bit.
Sure. You're always in it.
Yeah. And so I think...
But that's Ohio State, though. That's right. What they're doing.
Yes. I mean, the last, you take out that 2011 season, Ohio State's been in the mix every year since the turn of the century, which is pretty crazy to think about. Because
absolutely.
No one else can say that.
No, you can't. Isaiah, what else you got for us tonight, buddy?
So earlier yesterday, Colin Cowherd and Urban Meyer were talking, and Colin asked Urban if James Franklin should be on the hot seat, essentially. Urban had a really interesting answer to this. He said, I've been in Columbus when you lose a game, and walking out of that stadium, life ends as you know it. I mean, the world goes dark. He said, it's not exactly like that at Penn State. He said, I wonder if deep down, I'm not saying it's good enough, it's just not life or death.
Yeah, it's fascinating coming from who it's coming from, right? Because Urban did it. He won 83-9 as a head coach here at Ohio State. He won one national championship. And, 7-0 in the game against Michigan, right? Never had to face the scrutiny of losing a game to the team up north. It's just different here. Everybody who lives here or wherever you're listening from tonight, you know that. It is. I said in the 6 o'clock hour, we nitpick the wins. We want to win 70-0 every weekend. And if you don't, we find something to complain about. And that's where I feel like we're at with this Ohio State offense now, Pat, especially in the red zone. But at Penn State, we saw this coming from a mile away. Anytime that James Franklin and Penn State gets into a game like this, especially at home, in the whiteout, everything going for you. You're down big. You come back. You've got all the momentum in the world. And then you're supposed to be first-round quarterback, number 1 overall pick via some mock drafts, throws it into triple coverage on a play where you're trying to give yourself life. I don't know when it's going to end for Penn State. Maybe it ends this year. I don't know. At the very end of the season. And the best part about the 12-team expansion is great news for Penn State and James Franklin, and it was great news for Ohio State last year. You get in, you get a shot, right? They're still alive. You lost to Oregon. It's a darn good football team that Dan Lanning's got over there in Eugene. But they just can't do it. They cannot do it. And if you're fine with being mediocre, that's okay. That's fine. If you're okay with winning 10 games a year, going to the playoffs, getting bounced, okay, that's okay. But you need to understand the standards, and I think that Urban hit the nail on the head. I think the standard for Penn State's 10-2 is a pretty good year. Let's mix it up a little bit. Got to the semifinals last year. Okay, we lose. Well, let's come back and try to get them next year. But they just continue to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep. But they were also in the semifinal last year.
Which I know.
Which is they
had that game too.
Yeah.
They had it.
Yeah. I do think Urban is right. I know, we've talked about it before. My fiance's sister lives outside of Pittsburgh, and her husband went to Penn State. I don't want to make it sound like they're okay with losing, because when you talk to people,
how quickly do they rebound after a loss, though?
Well,
because I'm guessing it's a lot different than what Ohio State fans rebound.
Yes, and I think, too, you've got the Steelers, who are typically pretty good. So, the next day, you can probably turn on football that's good. And
are you blaming Ohio State fans' misery of losses on the Bengals and the Browns?
It doesn't help when the next day you're watching the Browns and sometimes the Bengals do what they do. Yeah. I think if you had something like that to flip over to the next day and kind of, get your emotions out with. But no, I mean, there are a few places that are like what Ohio State is, that most of them are in the South, I would say, if we're talking college football.
Not many.
Well, I mean, just saying, there's few, Alabama, I mean, even before Nick Saban was there, they lost a good amount, but they
were churning and burning through coaches. They're trying.
Yeah. LSU, I think you can talk about professional sports and kind of the reactions to those, but there are a few places like what you see at Ohio State.
Jake Diebler is apologizing to absolutely nobody. That's next. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Head to 971thefan.com to listen on demand and subscribe to all our podcasts. Wasting time has never been easier. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Feeling stuck on your own 10-yard line in the career game? Maybe it's time to just go for IT. My Computer Career has the game plan to score a rewarding new IT career in months. Whether you're a rookie, a breakout career changer, or a military veteran ready to serve. Why spend years chasing a college degree when you can fast track your future in IT starting now? Take your mark, get set, go for IT. Take the free career evaluation at mycomputercareer.edu today. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
At Kroger Pharmacy, we make it easy to get flu, COVID, and RSV vaccines. They're available at no cost to you with most insurance plans. No appointment needed. And we're open weekdays, weeknights, and weekends. So come and visit us when it's most convenient for you. Kroger Health, a world of care is in store. Vaccines subject to availability. No cost to you with most insurance plans. Check with your plan for eligibility. Restrictions and exclusions may apply. See site for details.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, getting ahead in this world is not as complicated as it might seem. Having the early guidance and counsel of your community banker, one who knows you and your family's story, can make a great deal of difference. Relationships matter. Bank on community banking. I'm Scott McComb, coming over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Hey, Ohio State fans. Next time that snack craving hits, Burger King has you covered with the O-Fry O bundle. You get a medium fry, 8-piece chicken fries, 8-piece mozzarella fries, and an 8-piece chicken nuggets, all for just $10. It's perfect snack fuel for one, wherever and whenever you're cheering on the scarlet and gray. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Tax extra.
This is Paul Keels for RV Wholesalers. Peace of mind. That's what you get when purchasing your next RV from RV Wholesalers. With every new RV purchase, Ohio residents receive the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. If your RV is in the shop, RV Wholesalers will give you a free loaner. Also with a Buckeye Service Guarantee, you'll receive free delivery in the state of Ohio and 3-day RV exchange. That's the exclusive Buckeye Service Guarantee. Only at RV Wholesalers in Lakeview, Mansfield, Delaware, and RVW.com. RV Wholesalers, a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Morning Juice, real football talk. Just two guys who aren't afraid to say what needs to be said.
And that's how she wrote.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Now streaming mornings on YouTube and 10TV Plus. Attack and dominate.
Hey Buckeyes, I'm John Chabot with Surest, a digital-first health plan designed to make healthcare simple and affordable right here in Ohio. At Surest, we believe healthy small businesses are vital to our economy. That's why we're ready to give your small business a VIP opportunity through our small business sweepstakes. Winners will be recognized on the sideline at an Ohio State home football game. To enter, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com/Surest. That's SUREST. Surest, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Blue skies, light winds, and fine finish on this Thursday. Temperatures right around 80 degrees. Cooling down with mostly cloudy skies to the low 50s by Friday morning, with plenty of sunshine to finish off the day, back in the low 80s and back in the 70s and 60s, and dry for your high school football plans. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
Coming up here at 7:30, just a few moments away from now, Tony Girdham in a Buckeye Huddle. He's going to join the program. We'll talk some Ohio State stuff with him. By the way, too, if you're going to the game on Saturday and you need a place to hang out, you can join us right here at The Fan live on campus as the Buckeyes host Minnesota. We're going to be tailgating at the O Patio and Pub on Lane beginning at 10 a.m., featuring live bands, great food, and a fun time. The O Patio and Pub on Lane is sponsored by your Central Ohio Ford dealers, Jameson Whiskey, and Coors Light. Does sound like a fun time. It's going to be 87 degrees on Saturday. Just get down there, even if you're not going to the game. Maybe you got some responsibilities post-game. Maybe you just get down in the thralls of campus and see what's going on.
I've often thought, especially as I drive through campus on game day. Now, don't get me wrong. I love what I do. But, man, like...
what a great time that would be.
We should all, everybody who does this, you know, I know you have to work on game days and whatnot. Like, everybody should get one day off to just, like, hey, I'm just going to go tailgate. I'm going to enjoy it. One Saturday off. I get why we don't, but
yeah, I mean, it is
a slippery slope.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably the biggest reason.
I agree with that. But yeah, if everyone's going out there on Saturday, have a great time with that. Pat, we did have Ohio State men's basketball media day a little bit earlier on in the week. What were your biggest takeaways from hearing from Jake Diebler and this team, which I hope is primed to make a nice NCAA tournament run for this upcoming season?
They don't only hope that.
Yeah,
they believe it. Jake Diebler.
They don't believe it. They expect it.
Yeah. Jake Diebler talked about, the standard and not dropping that.
Standard is the standard?
Yeah, I guess.
Do you want to hear him say this?
Sure.
Because this was him talking about the lofty goals and that standard.
All right, yeah, do that first.
Yeah, well, I think you can look on the back wall and see, what the standard is, in my opinion, of where this program should be tracking towards. And I don't apologize for having big expectations, right? I've been very consistent with that from the day I got this job. Much to, the dismay of people who would say, you're setting the bar too high, or you do it like Ohio State basketball, I believe, belongs as one of the best programs in the country. However, right, we got to, talking about it isn't enough. We got a lot of work to do to get there. I think, disappointed in how we finished the season last year, for sure. But we don't go into the season just wanting to do that. We're not setting a lower bar because maybe the program hasn't been there in the past. To me, the bar in this program should always be at the very top.
I think that's exactly what you want to hear.
I really wanted
head coach.
I wanted him to say the bar is the bar.
The bar is the bar. The standard is the standard, and the bar is the bar.
Which is what I say when people ask what I'm doing on a Friday.
The bar
Friday,
is the bar.
And the bar's the bar. We're going to the bar.
And probably tonight.
Yeah, there will be a bar tonight. Yeah. No, but look, I've said this before. I think this team is primed to be better. I think they're going to be more fun. I think they're going to fit better with what Jake Diebler and his staff want to do. I think it's also important to remember they are probably a game, maybe two, from making the NCAA tournament last year. So,
they would have made it with the new expanded rules that's coming out today. Did you read about that?
Yeah.
76, I think, was the number.
Look, just have everyone just scrap the regular season and play one big NCAA tournament the whole year.
If you lose the first round, done. Season's over.
Sorry.
One and done. That's all you get.
Yeah, it's like when you go to the NBA after 1 year. But no, I think there is some reason to buy into what Jake Diebler is saying. And if I didn't believe that, and last year, I know I wasn't on this show nearly as much, but I was not a fan of the way they built that roster. And I said it from the beginning, and I thought that, I didn't think that they would have some of the issues they did or how it would play out, but
they had a few.
I think that this team really has an opportunity. Are they going to be top of the Big Ten?
Yes.
I don't know. Look, you've got a lot going against you if you're Ohio State basketball and competing with some of these other teams. You look at the payoff of having a great football team, and the money that goes to that means it's a bit more difficult than, say, a Michigan State or Wisconsin, right? So, but that's not an excuse, and Jake Diebler's not making an excuse about that. No one is making an excuse about that. You still have to get the job done. This program has been underachieving for far too long, and if anybody knows that, it's Jake Diebler, who grew up watching the Buckeyes, watched his brother play for the Buckeyes, has been a coach more than once on this staff. He was with Thad Matta, left, came back, and was the assistant, now the head coach on after Holtman. So, this is a guy who really cares. Now, is he the right guy for the job? I think that there is a lot to like about him. He's young. That is going to take time. I asked him about what he learned, and he admitted there was a lot last year that you don't know until you know.
Well,
right?
And that's the crazy part about coaching and what you experienced last year, right? Like the Michie situation, the Aaron Bradshaw situation. You don't go to school for that. You have to experience that on the fly and be a part of a team and be a leader and coach your way through that. And there were some extraneous hurdles, I should say, that this team had to get over last year. And they did. They were right there at the end. Now, I know that he said it, I've said it, you said it, Isaiah, you said it, any Buckeye basketball fan out there said it. That's obviously not the way that you want to end the season. It was a bit of a train wreck to end the year. You had a game in which you probably should have won, and what did you lose? 3 games by a total of 5 points at one stretch? You got to just find those ways to flip the points at the end of the game. And spotting Bruce Thornton some time, I think, will be nice to have him available and maybe a little bit more at 100% as we get towards the end of the season instead of riding him like the workhorse that he is. But yeah, The expectation for this team from inside of those walls over at the Shot is not just to make the NCAA tournament. The expectation is to be one of the best teams in college basketball.
Yes, and I think you have to build that, right? Like, I always say to people, like, the way that it happened with Thad Matta, where, you know, they land the Thad 5 class, like, if you go back and look at the circumstances that surrounded that, and I won't go into all of it, but there were some down teams Indiana wasn't as good, Kentucky wasn't as good. Thad Matta, I don't want to say got lucky. I don't want to take away anything that they did, but like you hit on that class.
The iron's hot.
Yeah, and you hit on that class, and that propels you into the recruiting and everything else. Plus, Ohio high school basketball was maybe as good as it's ever been at that point. So you were getting Aaron Kraft, Deshaun, these guys. I guess Deshaun Thomas isn't Ohio, but a lot. Lenza, there were a lot of Ohio guys. I'm not going to try and stumble over my words there.
Just try it. It'll be fun.
I think right now there's an opportunity for that as well. But you're working in a very different landscape. Yeah. And I think that they've done some really good things. They're in on some really good guys down the road. So, look, I think you also need, and Jake Diebler talked about this, build momentum. Can you get some of these wins in the non-conference? And they did that a little bit last year. You won against Texas, you won against Kentucky, and that helps going to Big Ten play. But then carrying it over. And again, last year they lost those 5 games in a row by 2 points or fewer, whatever it was, 5 points or fewer. I think that's all learning for a lot of the guys. You get Taysom Chapman back, who I think will add something. You have Gabe Cupps in the backcourt now, so you're talking about taking load off Bruce Thornton. Junie Mobley is a second-year guy. I think the postmen make a lot more sense for how this works.
Big step up for Devin this year.
Yeah, and this will be super interesting, seeing how he moves from the 4 to the 3. And Jake Diebler even said, I know some people think I'm crazy for doing this, but I think we've seen the things that will make it work. So, I'm really optimistic for this team. Again, I think they're going to be contending for first place in the Big Ten? Probably not. But I think, coming towards the end of that regular season, you're not going to be sweating out an NCAA tournament.
Anybody want to take a guess? And I'm looking at you, Isaiah, and you, Patrick, of what Ohio State's odds are to win the Big Ten? There's 18 teams in the Big Ten. Where do you think Ohio State ranks in order for all those 18 teams to win the Big Ten this year?
6th.
Okay.
I was going to say 8th.
All right. Ohio State is 5th.
Okay.
Wow.
In odds to win the Big Ten. Purdue up there. Matt Painter just getting 7-footers out of nowhere. That's what he does. That's what they do over there. Michigan's there, UCLA, Illinois, then Ohio State. And then there's a significant drop off for Ohio State at plus 950 to then Oregon at 19-1. So I think top 5 should be the expectation then.
Yeah, I also think you have to be careful with the odds.
Yeah, true.
Because they know people will bet on the Buckeyes.
Yeah.
So you give, but
agreed. I just wanted to give a reference point.
You also don't put that out there if you think they're going to stink. But you're not just.
Well, you could. Florida State's over/under win total last year was 10.5 for football, and they smoked the under on that the first 2 games of the season.
But I don't think people expected Florida State going into the season to be as bad as they were.
I didn't expect them to be as good as they were this year.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I guess they just lost last weekend, and the best field storming ever.
Yeah, that was something. But I do think, Bruce Thornton is the heart and soul of this team, no doubt about it. They go as far as he can take them, but he doesn't have to shoulder, to your point, the load. I'm really interested in what Mobley in year 2 looks like. I think we saw a lot of good things
green
early.
Light.
Well, and I mean, the green light never turned off.
I know it didn't.
It was just that he ran into that freshman wall. Yeah. And I think trying to, get through that when they needed him to be a scorer that they didn't expect him to going into the season was tough. And, I think that's why you have a Gabe Cupps who can handle some things. And, I think there's a lot of potential.
Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle. He's going to join us. We'll preview homecoming for the Buckeyes with him in 2 minutes. It's the Buckeye Show on The Fan.
Columbus, the Blue Jackets schedule is out. And you can lock in your seats with ticket plans starting at just 11 games. Don't miss a moment of the action. Visit BlueJackets.com.
Parents, are your teens good with money? No. Switch to Huntington Bank and let's teach them. They get their own card, which they can add to their digital wallet, and you can monitor and set spending limits. Let's get more from money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome. Eligibility requirements apply. Some features may require enrollment.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. Great cars, great deals, Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. You know the savings are so good. Great Lakes Hyundai of Dublin. You know the savings are so good. Great Lakes Hyundai of Columbus. Good. GLakesHyundai.com.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, two-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
The 2026 Buckeye Cruise for Cancer sets sail on the Silver Sea Silver Ray. It's an intimate ship with an even better experience. It's all-inclusive of beverages, shore excursions, taxes, and gratuities. Sail to bucket list ports like the Grand Turk, St. Martin, and St. Thomas. With Buckeye greats including Ryan Day, Bobby Carpenter, A.J. Hawk, the Boren Brothers, Ezekiel Elliott, Ryan Shazier, and more. Sailing from Fort Lauderdale, February 17th through the 24th. Call 614-792-6204 to book today.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
You can always watch the show on YouTube. Thanks for everybody for hopping in the chat. As always, like and subscribe. Watch every show that we do. Right now, we head out to the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Check in with our great friend. He is of Buckeye Huddle. He is Tony Gerdeman. Gerd, how's your body clock feeling? Are you okay? Are you back on Buckeye Standard Time?
I do a lot of driving around, getting people to places during the week, and I have taken a nap, I think, in my car every single day this week. So
hopefully not while you're driving.
Not while I'm driving in parking lots and whatnot, but I am hoping by tomorrow I'll be back to normal, whatever that means.
I think you'll be all right. You just go to bed. I don't know, tonight after the Cubs game, and I think they're going to seal it up for you pretty quickly. So I think right at 8:15, 8:30, I think you'll be good, Gert.
He's got to watch the Rams play.
He's not a Rams fan.
No, but he likes me.
What, does he? Are you sure about that? Gert, do you like Pat? I don't know.
Anyway, how about that local football team?
Yes, they are very good, Gert. What did you take away? What were your biggest takeaways from Ohio State's 24-6 victory over Washington on the road last weekend, Gert?
Yeah, it's a very unselfish defense that was very disciplined in how they went after DeMond Williams, and they took that the instruction very seriously that they need to just keep him caged, let him come to you. He will, and he also does not like being rushed from the middle, as we saw. So just that they were disciplined. They listened to their coaches. They didn't get out of their lanes, and they all rushed as one, and then they just cleaned him up. And you can go back and watch that game and watch what the defensive line did, but don't forget to look at what's going on in the back half of the defense when they've got players covered all over the place as well. So just really impressed by the defense overall.
I asked Spencer this earlier when we had him on, but if you ran the Buckeye offense, who would be your starting running back on Saturday?
Well, I mean, it's clear that they believe it's Bo Jackson in terms of they gave him the most opportunities on the road. And so if you're going to make the move, just go make the move. C.J. Donaldson has his purpose, and he was very strong at the outset of that game. So he's still got his role. And we saw James Peoples doing what he did, also maybe as a third down option. But at this point, your leading rusher is Bo Jackson, averaging 99 yards rushing per game. So do you just at some point you're going to turn it over to him, right? So why not do it now and get him ready for what's to come this season? But also keeping in mind he's a guy that was banged up quite a bit in high school.
Is Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. To just go further in depth on that answer, Gerd, to you, what makes the difference? Outside of the stats, what are you seeing in the difference between Bo Jackson and C.J. Donaldson and currently James Peoples that sets him apart for you?
Well, I think you have to base it on the stats and the production. So that's what stands out. I would like to see him get more opportunities in short yardage to see if he can improve that in the red zone, those areas, to see if he can do maybe some of what C.J. Donaldson does, but hasn't always done perfectly. But based on his, he doesn't go down on first contact most times. He's fighting for yards. He's been able to do, all of the running stuff. What I will say is the other two have been able to do the pass protection things as well. And that's the question of where is Bo Jackson in that regard. But when you can run him or, let him bleed out of the backfield, and he's proven himself as a pass catcher so far as well. Like at this point, he looks to be your best option out of the backfield. So just continue to grow that.
When do you anticipate, if at all, I don't know, I'm not the coach of this team, that
Tony is now.
Yes, that is true. In this exact hypothetical, Gerd, you are the coach of this team. When are you going to let Julian Sayin loose and just let him go?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be against Washington, but then, Washington kind of played their three deep and didn't want to let anything go. I think as soon as the opportunity avails itself, go for it. And whether that's this week or I think you'd rather do it at home than on the road. So I'm expecting him to throw the ball around this week. I just wonder how much, what is Minnesota going to do to stop things. But let's keep in mind, he threw the ball 60 times the past two games. Will Howard didn't do that until like a week or two later than Julian Sayin. So we're like, why isn't Julian Sayin throwing the ball? He's thrown the ball 5 fewer times over the first 4 games than Will Howard did, and that's with not playing a second half against Grambling. So I think we're maybe we see that first half, and you're wondering like why are they playing it so close to the vest, and of course the Texas game. But when he's had opportunities and they feel confident that he's not going to hurt them by throwing it, then they've had more freedom. And I think right now they should feel that Minnesota, even if he throws a couple of interceptions, which I don't expect, that they'd be okay. So, even his interceptions have not been really truly like bad reads or anything other than the Grambling State interception where he just got greedy.
That's an interesting stat about Julian's passes versus Will Howard's. I had not seen that. So good job, Gerd. Is there anything so far through 4 games, which I guess is a third of the regular season, if I do the math right, that has surprised you about this team so far?
You want another stat?
Always.
Stat. So Bo Jackson is the first Buckeye in history to rush for 100 yards in his first 2 career games. That's never been done. Actually had OSU go and research all of that because they only researched portions of it, and then they went and confirmed that for me. So that's interesting. But I have been impressed by the defensive line. That's been the question. And, it's interesting to watch Caden Curry just play. Because we're all, you see Bo Atkinson come in. It's like, well, he's going to be starting next to Kenyatta Jackson. Caden Curry can come in and give them some good snaps, I suppose. And, he's taken a backseat to nobody, and he's really blossomed. And, it's always interesting to watch in this now era of the NIL when guys just stick around. Like Josh Fryer, I said last year, is like the perfect Buckeye because he stuck around and started for 2 years. That's, and was good. And then you got guys on this team that are going to stick around and start for 1 year or so and be very good. And it's a tough ask anymore for guys to stick around because they've got family. They've got people saying, why aren't you playing? Why aren't you this? Why aren't you that? You're supposed to be this and that. And, players may want to be patient, but the people around them may not want them to be.
Side note, still crazy that he didn't get invited to the Combine, Josh Fryer. Hey, let's flip your coaching hat, all right? Let's go from an Ohio State coaching hat to the opposite sideline. If you are Minnesota or any one of these opponents coming up on Ohio State's schedule, how in the world do you attack this Ohio State defense, which is absolutely out of their mind right now?
Well, you asked me to put on like a Minnesota hat, and I'm already exhausted from the meetings with PJ Fleck. So let me think.
And that's not just because of what's going on the whiteboards either. That's just what he's saying in his daily meetings.
Exactly. I'd ask my quarterback to play as veteran as possible to understand what Ohio State is trying to do. And you're asking Drake Lindsey, a redshirt freshman, to be aware of what Ohio State is showing you is not necessarily what you're going to get. So, what you're going to get is going to be after you've got the ball and you're trying to read things rather than the pre-snap is going to be different. So you just try to limit mistakes. I still think there's a possibility of running the ball on the Buckeyes if you get going, but Minnesota does not. Without Darius Taylor, they don't really have that capability. They're really banged up at running back. But, we have seen a little bit of success with the running game from the running back, but they're not able to sustain things. So I don't really know how you attack it. I am waiting to see how Jalen McClain does as, like, the center fielder on downfield passes, but we haven't seen them attacked very much because the corners are so good. So I think I'd be interested to see how Ohio State holds up being attacked downfield. And really, honestly, Minnesota, I think, will try to do that because they've got a quarterback that can. I wonder if they've got an offensive line that can give them the time to do it, though. And remember, Arvell Reese doesn't have to spy this week, so he can do whatever they want to do with him. They can make him more active this week as a pass rusher.
He could spy if he wanted to, though, right? They said just go and do that.
Sure. Hey, Arvell, take the day off. Just go ahead and spy. Make sure Drake Lindsay doesn't run 4 yards for a first down.
Sometimes that's an important 4 yards. You never know. Last night we got to talk to Jaden Fielding. Ohio State's special teams in terms of the kicking game hasn't been asked to do too much this year, but what's your confidence? We've seen Joe McGuire. We saw one punt of Nick McLarty. We've seen a little bit of Jaden Fielding, who said, I think he could kick one from 63 yards. So what if the Buckeyes need that, what do you feel like they've got there?
I have more confidence in Jaden Fielding making a big field goal right now than I do in the punting being the difference in a game for the Buckeyes. Like I don't see a Drew Chrisman type of performance against Michigan State from anybody on this roster right now. A few years back when he was in the post game room and didn't know there was a post game interviews, didn't know there was a post game room because of course he's a punter. But you saw one punt from Joe McGuire last week and what it was at like 35 yards and he's never had a big game. Nick McLarty, we know, has not yet had an opportunity or has not earned an opportunity. Jaden Fielding, I feel pretty confident in. He was banged up last year. He was injured last year, so I think that was the response. That was part of the reason for some of his troubles. But I know you guys like the fact that he brought up his soccer background as to why he's such a good tackler, and he's not afraid of the contact, and he's a big yellow card and red card guy.
Yeah.
And I do, next time we talk to Ryan Day, maybe like when you recruit kickers, do you look for that soccer background and, is there a red card target that you want them to have over their time of playing? Because you need that guy to be able to be that tackle, that last line of defense. Let's remember, he had half as many tackles as Caleb Downs in this past game, so he's a busy guy.
Yeah, I mean, look, if Ryan Day needs a red card, I'm sitting there
Pat is handy
every week, so I can do that. Carnell Tate, he was sort of a late arrival in terms of statistically showing up in that game. I know he did some other things that don't show up in the stat sheet, but it seems to me that the Buckeyes are at their best when they don't only get Jeremiah Smith involved, but Carnell Tate and even some Brandon Innes. What do you think about these other receivers? I know Carnell's had some good games, but beyond Jeremiah.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to get Brandon Innes involved more, and Brian Hartline said they would. Hartline also said they're going to try to get more guys in the rotation, and we saw Bryson Rogers and Mylan Graham in a little bit. But I think this offense is always better when Carnell Tate is involved, however it is. And I would expect that to continue on Saturday night against Minnesota because there's always so much focus on Jeremiah. So you've got to make the programs, the defenses pay for doing that. And, I'd like to see it go beyond the three guys to a fourth guy, whether that's Mylan Graham or Bryson Rogers. I think they need that. We haven't seen it yet. We haven't seen them really target anybody other than those three guys. I think Mylan Graham has like one catch this year. I'm not sure if Bryson Rogers has. Yeah, he has 2 catches for 22 yards this year. Like even David Adolph has a catch, but like they're not really incorporating those guys into the offense because they're playing so much 12 personnel and so many multiple tight ends. I do wonder if at some point they start to get more receivers involved. And honestly, I wonder if that will help the running game, just spread the defense out a little bit.
Gerd, always appreciate the time. Thanks for hopping on with us tonight. Get a good night's rest, and we'll talk to you again soon, okay?
All right, I'll be out in my car.
There he goes. Tony Gerdeman of Buckeye Huddle with us here on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Hashtag Buckeyes. Next, it's the Buckeye Show on the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
Go, go, go! Fox tonight takes you to hell and back. Let's go! Yes, First, an all-new Hell's Kitchen has
the Battle of the States.
who will make their hometown proud.
Good luck on that one.
Then, Special Forces goes deep.
You're going underwater in an aircraft.
This is one of my biggest fears.
You will potentially die.
These celebrities will learn why it's called the world's toughest test.
She's unconscious.
Get him dive, Bizarre!
Come here, come on, girl, breathe.
Tonight, starting at 8 on Fox 28.
At the end of the day, the sun sets on Central Ohio, but stories are still unfolding. Every voice, every neighborhood, every question that still needs answers. Fox 28 News at 10 is there in the quiet moments and at the turning points, digging deeper, finding solutions, lifting up the communities that shape who we are. At the end of the day, you deserve a team that's on your side. Fox 28 News at 10, always on your side.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access.
The cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
Already prepping for next week's matchup? Get your best rest yet with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop Bob's and choose from pillows, soft, plush, dual feel, and extra firm mattresses with Bobopedic memory foam that will have you dreaming of game day in no time. So shop in store or online to score the latest and affordable luxury mattresses without the luxury price tag. Bob's Discount Furniture, proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix that's guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Check out this great deal on select Lay's potato chips. They're on sale now. 4 bags for only $10 with your card when you buy 4. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu. My Computer Career, an elite CompTIA certification partner.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary. Attack and dominate. Morning Juice is on YouTube and 10 TV Plus.
Sponsored by Riverside Bank of Dublin.
Join Bobby Carpenter and Tito weekdays starting at 6 or watch on demand. More Bobby, less commercials. The Fan. All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. Hashtag Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at The Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Thanks, everybody, for hanging out tonight. I want to remind you that the Capital Ford of Columbus High School football game of the week will take us up to Olentangy Liberty tomorrow as the defending Division I state champions host undefeated Upper Arlington. Coverage is going to start at 6:30. We got the kickoff at 7. And then after the game, it's Bayer Subaru Dublin's Overtime with Ryan Baker and Lee Cochran. Friday nights are for high school football right here on The Fan. I know I've said this before, and I'll say it again. if you are riding around town after high school football and you want the best high school football show, that show with Bakes and Lee Cochran is the best show. Like it's probably the best show that we do all week on these airwaves. It's incredible.
I like to think Thursdays with you and me is the best show. But...
No, we're bottom of the barrel, pal. Yeah, we're pretty close to the bottom. that show, though, it's electrifying. It's terrific.
Unrelated, but related to what we were talking to Gert about. Did you hear Jaden Fielding's recruiting story he talked about?
I'm honestly, Pat, I'm not aware of Jaden Fielding's recruiting story.
I wasn't either. But apparently, IMG, where he went, and so did one Carnell
outside
Tate,
of the Outer Belt.
Yes, I would not have been there. Was doing they were playing multiple Ohio teams. So
Bishop Sycamore.
I don't think it was that.
Being one of them.
I think they were in Cincinnati. But he said that Ryan came down to see Carnell Tate, and Jaden Fielding was kicking off, and Ohio State didn't have a big-legged kicker to do kickoffs the way they wanted. And so Ryan just came up and was like, hey, what's your name? And that's
My
how
name
that
is
went.
Jaden.
So he said this actually on the Ryan Day show today because he was the final guest. And he said, thank you to Carnell Tate for basically getting where he needed to go.
That's remarkable.
I thought that was great. That's
Thank
most
you,
guys,
Carnell, for being very good at football, which then in turn turned it into a pretty good career for me at Ohio State.
Exactly.
Thank you.
I don't know
what
how
a great teammate Carnell Tate is.
I don't know how most kickers and punters like their recruiting stories because I bet it's different than other players, but that's a good one. No doubt.
That is a really good one. Thanks to Jaden Fielding for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before we get out of here tonight, our fan poll at 971thefan.com or on X at 971thefan. Who wins today's winner-take-all Game 3 in Cleveland between the Guardians and the Detroit Tigers?
Ooh. Can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to pick the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Tigers.
I don't know. I feel like did they?
It's a close. It's a close game until the Tigers went crazy.
If you just don't believe it happened, then it never happened.
I've been steadfast. If you turn a game off and your team is winning, and you never watched the end of it, and they ended up losing, that's not a you problem. That's a them problem, and they still won that game to you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm really bad. I can't turn off or leave sporting games, sporting events early.
I can't either. I wasn't saying that's a me problem, but
yeah. I can get too drunk and not remember, though. That's happened before.
Like the Super Bowl back in 2021?
When the Rams won the Super Bowl. I had to rewatch that the next day.
Hey, we won.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's not my fault, though.
That wasn't a defensive pass interference or holding on Logan Wilson.
Whoa.
It wasn't. We're going to call spade a spade. It wasn't a holding.
Whoa.
I know that was 4 years ago, but it's still not a holding penalty. Okay. You want to move on?
Yeah.
How many times do you, if you live outside of the outer belt, get inside the inner belt other than work? Or how many times do you get outside of the outer belt if you live inside of the inner belt? Isaiah, what's your number? You were making fun of Pat. How many times do you get outside the belt?
See, I don't think it's that often if I'm not visiting family.
We're taking family out of it.
See, I don't know because I live right on the edge of where Upper Arlington and Hilliard meet.
Okay. Nice.
And so I cross over to Hilliard pretty frequently.
Still inside the belt, though.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
What are you talking about?
Yes, you have to physically cross the belt. You have to physically cross 270 to be outside the belt. Just going into Hilliard, half of Hilliard is in, half of Hilliard is out. Yes.
Yeah, I cross over.
That doesn't count.
Every now and then I'll tamper the foot. I'll toss it over.
I'm just going to start tweeting at you anytime I go outside the outer belt.
And you know what? I'm going to have 4 tweets a year.
Yeah. I did think of one. Tom Reed, who used to work for the Dispatch.
Okay.
He lives just outside the outer belt in Hilliard, and he occasionally has garage or backyard parties.
Okay.
But I use the term party loosely.
Tiki Bar's inside the belt.
Yeah. Jeff Svoboda usually shows up there. Tiki Bar is inside the belt. I've been thinking this entire show, and I cannot think of other places that I go fairly regularly. How many times do you go outside the outer belt?
On average, a year?
Yeah.
50?
Where are you going?
I'm going to the zoo.
No, we took the zoo out.
We didn't take the zoo out.
I'm taking the zoo out. Well, you're taking family out. I'm taking the zoo out.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to go visit a brewery, multiple that are up in Delaware and in Powell.
I'd go to
Henmick Farms, good brewery. Nocterra up in Powell. Ill-Mannered is up in Powell. That's a really good one.
It's a fun area in Powell.
It is.
There's a bunch of good stuff
That's
around
outside
there.
the belt.
Here's one. What's the place in Hilliard that has the big outdoor area where you can?
What is it called?
It's got the door.
Yeah. What is it called? They got Meatball Mafia in there, and
they've got the nice There's a little water
Crooked
fountain. Crooked Can.
Can.
I've met Timmy up there. Sometimes I have some other friends that live out that way.
That's outside the belt.
I've done that one. During COVID, my buddy Brian, who has the fan on in his garage all the time, so there's a good chance he's listening right now.
Yeah.
Him and his wife live out in Hilliard outside the belt, and they have a huge backyard, so we would all go out there. And
More
just,
land outside the belt.
Yeah, hang out all day. Who do you think wins in this game tonight that I'm very nervous
You want
about?
that to be the fan poll? Who wins in the Rams-49ers game?
I don't think anyone
I'm going to pick the Rams. Because the 49ers are pretty banged up. They do have Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, they do.
Sean McVay likes the little bro, Kyle Shanahan.
They are buddies.
Yeah, I know he likes the little bro.
Do you know in the week, it probably didn't happen much this week because it's a short week, but they often will drop like secret messages to each other in their press conference, like things that no one else would get.
Oh, just like inside jokes?
Yeah, like they do that a lot, apparently.
During the COVID shutdown, when Wordle was a big thing, we always used to try to say the Wordle word on the show. And a lot of the times, the Wordle word doesn't fit with anything you're saying, and we would always try to say it, and it would be a game for us three, our producer, Bob, and me, and then to Meredith, who would be listening on her drive in and being like, hey, I don't know what the word is. But saying some random 5-letter word out of nowhere.
Do you still play Wordle?
I don't. I've quit Wordle many a years
Somebody who still plays Wordle is TV's Matt Barnes.
Yeah,
from
I see him tweet about it every day.
Yes, every morning. I saw him in Seattle.
Okay.
He was out there, and then he went to the Rams game, actually. Went as a Colts fan, but he was taking a 5 a.m. flight Sunday morning to Los Angeles.
Pat, had a great time with you.
Yeah.
Let's do it again tomorrow, shall we?
Short one.
To get ready for the Golden Bears on Friday Night Football.
Yeah, buddy.
Everybody have an awesome night. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 6. Pat's Rams are up next on The Fan.
Just when you thought afternoons couldn't get any dumber.
You fellas been doing a bit of boozing, have you?
Common Man and Timmy.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
Your home for dumb. The Fan.
Hey, it's Timmy Hall, and it's party time, baby, because the Grove City Smokin' Hot Wing and Music Fest is back Saturday, October 4th at American Nitro. From noon to 9, you get wings, beer, live music, football on the big screen, and more. Don't miss the wing eating and bobbing for wings contest either. Ooh, veterans, military, and kids under 12 get in free. Get the tickets at AmericanNitro.com/wingfest. Presented to you by The Fan, Columbus Chamber, Brex Paving, Darby Dental, and Equipment Rental. Wingfest 2025, the ultimate fall kickoff. Don't miss it.
The football season now stretches from August to late January, and we can't afford not to be at our very best all season. Hey guys, it's Eric Reeser, and if you're like me, looking at the calendar wondering how you're going to stay at 100% for the next 5 months, do what I did. Go see my friends at Hydrate Me Med Spa. I went to their Grandview location, got hooked up with a fast vitamin push that's got me feeling better than I have in years, and the NAD Plus has me thinking better too. From IV to aesthetic treatments, look great, feel great at Hydrate Me Med Spa. 4 locations, Grandview, Granville, New Albany, and Dublin. Book your appointment at hydratememedspa.com.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State.